Hey everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for this video. I'm really excited for it. Last night, I filmed the YouTube version of this video, basically. I went around and I looked at all the YouTube channels of the NHL teams and took a screenshot of how many subscribers they got, and then I ranked them based on how many, or I sorted them based on how many subscribers they have. Obviously, the one in first overall has the most subscribers, and the 31st has the least amount of subscribers. That video is actually just uploading behind me here now, and by the time that you see this, it will have already been released. I'm not even sure your reaction yet. But I wanted to go ahead and do the Twitter version of this and also the Instagram version of this. And you'll probably see this video roughly a week after the YouTube one. So if you haven't seen the YouTube one, please go check it out. I don't know your opinions on it yet. Like I said, I'm just uploading it now. But it's kind of a no-stress video. It's not serious hockey talk. It's not a ranking where it's a subjective ranking that I'm doing that maybe you disagree with. I'm just giving you information that you can find yourself, but this is just in an easy format that's easy to digest and you can, you can go to work or to school the next day and say, hey, I got a trivia question for you. Who do you think, maybe to a hockey friend, who do you think has the most, which NHL team has the most followers on Twitter? I mean, you can find that information for yourself, but it would take you, 5 or 10 minutes to figure out. Now with this video, you have some information, and I'm glad I can provide it for you. Okay, so let's get going. I'm going to show you the Twitter accounts of all the NHL teams, 31-1 ranked. I'm going to start at 31, go up to 1. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about each team. There's not really much to say, but I want to take you through the whole process. Here we go. Let's do it. Okay, in 31st position. Oh, first, before I get in, I'm really sorry to delay this anymore, but in the last video, I asked people to take a guess. List your top 5 or try and predict who you think has the most, what teams have the most subscribers on YouTube. If you guys could do that again for this one and on Twitter, like what top 5 teams do you think have the most followers on Twitter? If you could leave a comment right now and tell me what you think, just to see if you were right, just to go back down and maybe comment on your own comment later and be like, oh man, I screwed up, I got that wrong, or wow, holy crap, I was right, that's crazy. So yeah, feel free to leave a comment now and make your predictions. Okay, now let's get going. In 31st position, we have the Arizona Coyotes, 371,000 followers. I mean, that's a lot of followers. I only have like 3,500 on YouTube, but as this video progresses and you can see how the other teams are doing, how many followers they have, 371,000 is fairly insignificant, but it's understandable, right? I mean, the Arizona Coyotes are, I don't want to insult the Arizona Coyotes, and I don't mean this as an insult, but their fan base they're just not the same size as some of these other fan bases like a Boston or a Toronto or a Montreal. They have a small fan base, based on location, based on performance in the last 20 years, based on playoff appearances, based on a lot of things. So, I mean, it's unfortunate that they only have that amount, but I mean, in retrospect, I only have 3,500, so I'm a nobody. Okay, let's move on to the next team. In 30th position is the Florida Panthers, 380,000. Kind of the same thing. A team that, that Florida probably has the lowest attendance of any NHL team, so that kind of relates to fan size as well a little bit, so I'm not really shocked by this number. Let's move on. Carolina in 29th, 443,000. Carolina is a team that's actually done quite well in the past 24 months. They've really come alive, and then they made the playoffs last year and did amazing things, and they got the new owner came in and did exciting things, like brought back the Hartford Whalers jersey as kind of to pay homage to the previous organization. And, the storm surge, just all kinds of things that he has done and the organization has done in the last 24 months to really revitalize the fan base and this team. It's gone a long way, and I think the followers of this account will probably skyrocket at a percentage as high as maybe a Toronto or Montreal, because more people want to see what's going on in Carolina because of their recent success. So expect, if I did this in a year from now, I would probably assume that Carolina would not be 29th. They'd probably be like 23rd, 24th. Who knows? If you'd like to see me do this video in a year, let me know and I'll do an update. Okay, 28th is the Vegas Golden Knights. They have 467,000 followers. Fun fact, when I started my YouTube channel is at the same time that the Vegas Golden Knights started their Twitter account, and I followed them, and they followed me back. Unfortunately, they did unfollow me eventually, but I got to have that little bit of success for a little bit. But anyways, 467,000, that's a pretty decent number, but I mean, they're only 2 years old. So I understand it, but I mean, if you don't follow the Vegas Twitter, it's really funny, and it always has been, and I highly recommend you follow it. I'm actually surprised that they're this low based on how popular their Twitter is, but I would expect them to skyrocket as well, kind of like Carolina. And 27th is Columbus. They've got 487,000. So, I mean, all these numbers are relatively close. So I'm just going to continue. I don't really have a lot to say. Kind of these middle teams, there's not really much to say. Colorado, 523,000. Shocked me a little bit. I would have expected them to be higher. The New York Islanders, only 539,000. Islanders fans, what's going on? I mean, if you're going to see teams up here like New Jersey and the Rangers who are close geographically, but I mean, you're not really close on the scale of Twitter followers. So Islanders fans, you need to pump up that Twitter. Next is Winnipeg Jets, 555,000, not too bad. Ottawa Senators, 585,000. Little surprised that these two Canadian teams are this low. Generally, there are more hockey fans in Canada than there are in the United States. So just based on that, I would have figured that all the Canadian teams may be in the top 15. That's just not the case. I was totally wrong. Anaheim Ducks are next in 22nd, 606,000. So we're up into the 600,000s now. 21st is Nashville, 615,000. That surprised me a little bit as well. I really thought that Nashville would have been a little bit higher with their recent run in the playoffs a couple of years ago. I mean, everybody was watching the Nashville Predators. They were such a good story. It's such an amazing city. So I really thought that, maybe they could have been top 10, but I was totally wrong here. Number 20 is the Calgary Flames, 630,000. Again, a Canadian team that's a little bit lower than I would have projected. Minnesota Wild next in 19th, 694,000. Tampa Bay Lightning, 709,000. They're in 18th position. A team that has a really incredible, like a super large following in an untypical market. I really would have suspected that they would have been higher, but I don't know. And 17th position is the New Jersey Devils, 741,000. I would not have predicted that the New Jersey Devils would have more followers than the Tampa Bay Lightning. No offense, New Jersey fans. Next up, St. Louis Blues, 751,000. I mean, you just won the Stanley Cup, so I would have figured that they would have gotten more exposure. I would not have pegged St. Louis to be this far down on the list. But, I mean, 16th isn't really that bad. It's basically midfield or mid-pack. 15th is the Washington Capitals. They have 777,000. Kind of the same situation as St. Louis. Just won a cup recently, so I would have figured maybe their numbers would have been a little bit higher, but still, middle of the pack, not too bad. And 14th is the San Jose Sharks, 823,000. I really like the San Jose Sharks Twitter, and I'm not just saying that as a Sharks fan because they are my second favorite team. I think that they're funny. Like, I like these funny, witty accounts, like the Vegas Golden Knights account. That's an amazing account. If you guys don't follow that, please do. It's really funny. They can insult themselves, and I think that's important. If you can insult yourself, then how can people make fun of you? So, and they do that, and the same with Vegas. So I really like this account. I think you guys should follow it. Next up is the Edmonton Oilers. They are in 13th position. They have 826,000 followers. So, I mean, we're approaching 1 million followers here. Next is the Buffalo Sabres. Good job, Buffalo fans. 867,000 followers. You're in the top 12. I mean, that's pretty good for Buffalo. Their fans are incredibly loyal for a team that really hasn't done much in the past 20 years. So that says a lot about the loyalty and character of Sabres fans. Number 11 is the Vancouver Canucks. They have 1 million. We've cracked the 1 million market. It's the top 11 NHL teams have over 1 million followers on Twitter. Pretty cool. And if you have not seen the YouTube version, I don't want to say the winner, but you should probably go watch it. Okay, Dallas Stars are next in 10th, and they have 1 million followers, so I guess technically they're tied with Vancouver. Detroit Red Wings in 9th with 1.2 million followers. Not really surprised. Huge hockey fan base, original 6 team. Not really surprised. The LA Kings, 1.2 million followers. So I guess they're tied with Detroit as well. Again, not really surprised. LA is a huge market generally in LA, and that city is it's one of the biggest cities in the world, the most lively cities in the world, because of the celebrities that go to the games and everything. They get a lot of additional exposure that some of the other teams don't. So I'm not really surprised to see LA there. In 7th position, we have the New York Rangers with 1.4 million followers. Again, original 6 team in a massive city. They do a great job on social media. I'm not surprised to see them have this much. And 6th, the Philadelphia Flyers, 1.5 million. And I don't want to give Gritty credit for all these follows, but I suspect a good portion of the Flyers' recent followers on Twitter have to do with Gritty in these past 2 years. I honestly believe that I wish I had done this video 2 years ago so I could look back and see how many followers or where Philadelphia positioned, so I could see the gritty effect. But I mean, man, Flyers top 6. Good job, Flyers fans. The Boston Bruins, 1.5 million. So I guess they're tied with Philadelphia. They're in 5th position. And number 4, the Montreal Canadiens, they also have 1.5. So I guess Philadelphia, Boston, and Montreal all tied for 4th, which is pretty cool. Not really surprised here. The Montreal Canadiens are extremely active on Twitter. They have their own fan club that you can sign up for, and they release codes, and you can take those codes and you put it on the website, and it gets you points, and you can use those points to buy Canadiens merchandise or game used pucks or whatever. So they're tweeting all the time. It's a very active Twitter account. Even if you're not a Montreal Canadiens fan, there's probably a good chance that you've seen a couple of tweets from them just randomly. And in 3rd position, top 3. Have you predicted right so far? Let's see. Number 3, Pittsburgh Penguins, 1.8 million. I mean, we've gone from 1 million from Vancouver, and in a very short period of time, we're almost all the way up another million to 2 million. So pretty impressive, but not surprised here. Sidney Crosby, Malkin, all the big names, 2 Stanley Cups recently. You can't not have this many. If they only had 700,000 with all the exposures that they get, there would be a problem. So yeah, they're right where they need to be. Number 2, the Toronto Maple Leafs. They have 1.9 million followers. Toronto is the mecca of hockey. Not a surprise here. Complete, no shock whatsoever. Like, this is completely predictable for them to be in second. I really, actually, going into this, I personally would have predicted them to be first. So I guess I was wrong. But anyways, by process of elimination, have you determined in your mind who number 1 is? The Chicago Blackhawks. 2.4 million followers. 2.4 million. That's 500,000 more than second place. 31st only has 371,000. The Chicago Blackhawks have more followers in difference between Toronto and Chicago than Arizona, Florida, Carolina, Vegas, Columbus, and maybe Colorado, depending on how it goes out, do individually as whole as followers. That's incredible. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams. Just amazing. Just really impressive from Chicago. I personally, I follow all the NHL teams. I see all their tweets, but I don't really see amazing things coming out of the Chicago Twitter account. They're very active. They post some incredible stuff, some awesome behind the scenes stuff, some videos. They do a fantastic job. But and this is like, I'm not trying to insult Chicago here, but I don't see them being 500,000 followers more valuable than any of these other teams in the top 10. I predicted them in my top 3. I did have them in my top 3. I did not have them first overall. I did have Toronto first overall. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting list. I don't think you could predict this entire list 1 to 31. I think you'd make mistakes somewhere, kind of like the Canadian teams. Some of those Canadian teams being a little bit low. I mean, Dallas is up there in the top 10. I believe they were 9th. Not that that's really, or they were 10th. That's not really a shock, but I mean, some of these other teams, I really would have predicted that St. Louis would have been higher than Dallas. Probably the Islanders would have been higher than Dallas, but regardless, there's no right or wrong here. It's just a fun video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And of course, what's next? Instagram. So I'm going to film that actually tomorrow, but you won't see it until next week. So I'm uploading the YouTube one now, which you've probably already seen. Filming the Twitter one now, which I'll release a week from that one. And then a week from when you're seeing this, you will see the Instagram one, which I'm going to film tomorrow. It's getting confusing. I have to kind of film videos back to back to back, and then release them randomly, I guess, throughout the weeks based on my work schedule and some other things coming up. I'm preparing for the March Madness thing that I'm filming this weekend. I guess that some of those videos would have already released by now. So if you haven't seen that, definitely go check it out. But yeah, subscribe if you like this style of video. Like I said, I'm gonna do the Instagram one. I've done the YouTube one. Go check it out. I have other videos on this channel as well. The big March Madness series that's going on right now on the channel. If you are not subscribed, I really truly feel that you are missing out. So please hit the subscribe button down below and definitely hit the like button. That helps me a lot. Share this video around as well. Thank you guys so much. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios.